Welcome to Lessons from Horses with Tanya Kraus.
Good morning, everyone. It's Tanya Kraus here, and I am, you're joining me rather for a thoughts from my walk, although I'm not walking at the moment. And what I wanted to just jump on and chat about was some overlooked preparation when it comes to taking our horse out and about, and maybe out to clinics or a show or just out on a ride with friends or whatever the case may be. So we often understand the riding preparation that's required, and most of the time we remember that we should train the horse to get on the trailer well before an event, so the horse is happy to get on and off the trailer, and that's not going to cause an issue on the morning of show day or whatever it is. But something that I see that is overlooked a lot is preparing our horse to be in a yard and potentially in a yard overnight, etc. So here behind me, you'll see that I've got Safi, Angel and Gally in our yards. And yes, of course, that this is at home, but it does help the horse learn to be in a restricted area. So Angel particularly, the one in the middle, the little chestnut mare there, she is not happy at all when she's in a small space. And so for her, it's about, getting her comfortable within that small area without taking her. If I took her to a clinic, I might be at a clinic for, 2 or 3 days. And so I'm immediately just amping it up to maximum tolerance. I'm throwing her in the deep end. I'm going, right, oh, now you're in that yard for 3 days. Instead of what I'm doing here with these horses is, I might bring them in when I'm home. Obviously, I travel a lot to teach, but I'm home for the next week or so. So for the next week or so, these horses will get pulled in probably daily, if not every couple of days, and they'll get fed in the yards, and they'll learn to just be in the yard, and then they go back in the paddock. So it's just one change. Now, the other thing that does is not only builds confidence with them being in a restricted area and being in a small space and being okay with being in a yard, which is, golden. I teach so many clinics and I've been to so many shows, and I've seen so many people struggle with that. Their horse paces the yard all night, or the horse, won't drink, won't eat when they're on the road. And that's all avoidable stress. Yes, of course, taking your horse away from home is going to add an extra layer, but do you want to add 4 new layers to the horse, or do you want to just add 1 new layer to the horse? And so the 3 major things that happen when you take your horse to an event is that you restrict them in a yard, you feed them hay, which here at home we don't have the need to feed hay. We're very fortunate that our paddocks, you can see our paddocks in the background there, are covered in grass, so we don't really need to feed hay. And that you are usually offering your horse strange water. So they're the 3 elements that typically happen when you go away from home. And then on top of that, you're in a strange place. So I can't do much about the strange place, but I can make my horse confident in the yard. I can get my horse's gut used to getting hay. So our horses, like I said, we always try and trickle feed them hay. So this week they'll get hay every day, because I'm doing this yard thing and I'm working all the horses while I'm home. While I'm away, that doesn't necessarily happen, but I might only be away for 3 or 4 days. And then we really try at least once a week to make sure all the horses get hay at least once a week, so it's in their diet. So it's not like this brand new thing that's happening to them. And then when it comes to water, a lot of horses don't like to drink when they're away from home. And you've got 2 choices. You've got 3 choices. Do nothing about it and take the risk that your horse doesn't drink for 2 or 3 days, which they sometimes won't. 2, you can cart water from home. So a lot of the new trailers and goosenecks and things like that have big water tanks in them. So it's not a trouble to take water with you. I don't like taking water with me because it adds extra load. So, 10 litres of water is an extra 10 kilos. And so, and it's free flowing weight in the tank. So I don't like to take water with me. And then the third thing that you can do is contaminate their water. So, if I've got these horses locked up and I'm working on them drinking strange water, I might fill up their water. Obviously it's with water from home, but then I might put just a little syringe of apple cider vinegar in it. And so it just adds that little bit of taste to the water. It makes it taste funny. But if they're used to drinking water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar in it at home, then when I go away and add apple cider vinegar to the strange water, hopefully it's going to be enough to get them over the line to thinking that that's quite familiar water. So that's a great tip. A lot of people use molasses. You can use molasses, but obviously with horses that are overweight or that have, that are prone to laminitis or that are prone to getting a little bit busy-minded when they've got too much energy, molasses is a lot of sugar. So you don't necessarily want to be adding that to their diet. So I always reserve molasses water for if I've got a horse that is refusing to drink or is maybe a little bit colicky or something like that because they're dehydrated. Then you add the sweetness to the water and obviously they like to drink that. But something like apple cider vinegar, I used to know another client that used to put oil in the water. She actually used to put oil in her troughs at home to stop the mosquitoes breeding in it. So she would use like sen oil that we feed. She would just put a little bit of sen oil and it just creates a film on top of the water. So that's another handy tip. It stops the mosquitoes from breeding in there. Our horses drink out of dams, so there's no way that I'm going to be able to coat the dam with copious amounts of oil, and there'd probably be some environmental catastrophe that I'd cause by tipping, oil into the water in the dam. But definitely in, your little troughs in just a yard. I like apple cider vinegar because it's quite potent. It's got a very distinctive smell, but you don't need very much of it. And it is good for the horses to drink. So they're my tips on some overlooked preparation. We don't often think about preparing our horses to go away from home. And they're my 3 ways that I try and help my horses get really prepared to be away from home. So then the only thing I'm dealing with is the fact that they are in a strange place. And let's face it, if they're eating and drinking and confident in a small yard, when I take them to the strange place, they're going to feel a lot better in it because they are, they're eating and drinking. So it's not compounding with, I'm in a strange place and I'm hungry and I'm dehydrated and that's giving me a tummy ache. And so now I'm going to pace the yard even more, etc., etc. So it's like a snowball effect that happens. If you don't do this preparation and you have a horse that, say, paces the yard, they're going to get sore, they're going to get tied up earlier because they're not drinking, they're going to get, a little bit of ulcers situation happening because they're not eating. So it just all compounds, and then that translates to your horse's mind in, I don't like going away from home because it makes me feel really yucky and I get really stressed and I get really unwell. And so then you have a horse that stresses when they're out and about. Do this preparation and you'll have a horse that is confident with being, in this situation, and then they can develop the confidence with being out and about without worrying about being hungry or dehydrated. So I hope that's a good tip. I hope everyone is starting to dry out. We actually have clouds here today, but I can't tell whether it's going to actually rain or not. But I'm down here nice and early, or not super early, but nice and early to get everything started with them. And I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.